Hey y'all, this is a quick video on the Aquafit Aquatics 3 watt not protein skimmer, UV sterilizer. So got this on my Fluval Evo 13.5 right now, and let me explain why. So I had a little problem. This tank has been up and running since about the 2nd of November. It's about, what's the date today? It's about 12th of January today. So what does that make it? 8, 9 weeks that this tank has been up. So everything was great. Water was clear, corals healthy, fish looking good. Fish went in about maybe 7 weeks after I started the cycle, and the tank was cycled with Dr. Tim's and ammonia. All the values were recorded and everything was done properly. But did a little water change 2 days ago. Stirred up some sand, maybe while pouring the water in, stirred up something else. Went away on Saturday. Didn't get to see the tank much since I was gone all day. Sunday, I wake up and there's this large bacterial bloom in the water column, in the main display column. And the tank looked like it was melting. All of my corals there, oh man, it was bad. It was bad. My elegance down here did not look good. Looks much better now. My polyps over there, purple star polyps, were not extended at all. Goniopora was okay, but my zoas, which they slid down a little bit, I gotta move them, but they were completely closed. My candy cane looked like it completely just gave up, and all my euphyllias were closed up. My acans, they had their feeding tentacles out, as did the lobos down here. So everything looked just terrible. So I read up on what to do, posted a little bit. I noticed that there was a copepod outbreak as well. There were a lot of copepods or amphipods in the tank. I couldn't tell what they were, but nothing was looking good. So in chamber 1 over here, I did have the in-tank media basket. I took that out and I put in the protein skimmer that I had. This is the S2 or the SR2, whatever it is, or PS2 by Fluval. I wasn't using it before, but big props to the protein skimmer for coming in and saving the day a bit and clearing up the cloudiness by about half, I would say, over a 12-hour period. So I thought to myself, this is my main tank. I don't really have another one. If something goes wrong, I want to be able to at least have something else, to be able to save a fish or save a coral. You don't want to see anything dying off or not doing too well in your tank. So did some more research, went on Amazon, and I found this cheap little UV sterilizer. So I just put that in the tank about 5 minutes ago, got that going. Aquafit Aquatics, and we'll see if it makes any major difference. Most people that I've talked to, or most things that I've read on the forums, seem to indicate that UV sterilization for a bad algae bloom can clear it up pretty quickly. So my hope is that in working with this protein skimmer, that it it helps to restore my tank back to where it was and get everything looking happy and healthy again. The only downside is my clean looking setup with no wires now has a ton of wires. So if not for the protein skimmer, and if not for the UV sterilizer, the setup would look a lot better. But you gotta do what you gotta do. And let's see what this UV sterilizer does to help this tank over the next day or so. Just a couple other things that I read about, or that I did. I read that when you have a bacterial bloom, it's a good idea to make sure a lot of oxygen's in the tank. I didn't have an air stone or anything like that, or rather, I did. I do have one that I use for drip acclimation, but I don't have a pump for it. So one thing that people said to do was make sure there's a lot of surface agitation. So the JBL wave maker, put that up to about half. I usually keep it around 1 or 2, right? Because these fish, they're really tiny clowns, right? So I don't like to stir things up too much. But and I've also got the Vivid Creative Aquatics RFGs, the random flow generators. So I've pointed those a little bit towards the surface, turned the wave maker up a little bit. So as you can see, I'm getting a lot of surface, surface wave, surface agitation, which I think was probably positive and probably helping in keeping things trending positive. So just another thing to consider if you're dealing with an algae bloom. And if you're, like me, and if you want to take every measure possible to make sure that your stuff is okay. All right, so just back with a quick update. Almost 6 hours later, and so I got my lights set to turn off automatically, of course, but I just came into my office here because I wanted to see what the progress was like, and as you can see, look at that. The tank is clear. You can see right through. You couldn't see right through before clearly, but that sterilizer seems to be working, and the protein skimmer is still going. That cup is a lot fuller than it was 6 hours earlier. So I'm gonna continue to keep an eye on things, and when the lights turn on tomorrow morning, the actual, when the Prime HD turns on, it'll be interesting to see if the tank is back to being clear. So, wow, I gotta say I'm impressed so far though. Almost 6 hours. I think we're like 5 or 6 minutes short of exactly 6 hours, but this is what things look like right now. All right, here's another quick update. We are at 18 hours in. Lights are starting to turn on, and things are looking great, I gotta say. Came down a little earlier, turned my office lights on, and just saw that the protein cup was a little fuller, so we're gonna toss that soon. Sterilizer is still going, and things are looking slowly back to normal. So this is 18 hours in with the lights just slowly turning on. We'll do another one for a full 24 hours. I should get to the middle of the day when everything's nice and opened up. So, so far things are still progressing and they're looking good. Okay, so here we are, 24 hours and about 25 minutes after I just stepped out to get a quick workout in. But here's how the tank's looking now. It is clear. See right through, no more cloud, no more haziness, nothing like that. Might be a little hard to tell just because of the way my lights are set and the way that the camera reacts to the lights. But emptied the protein cup earlier, and that skim looks pretty clear actually. So I'm sure it's pulling something out, but it's not as dirty as the previous skim was. And then the UV Sterilizer, Aquafit Aquatics 3-watt is still doing well. I gotta say I'm impressed. Protein Skimmer did a lot of heavy lifting early, but 24 hours with the Aquafit Aquatics 3-watt UV Sterilizer, and things are looking even better. So, yeah, great product, I gotta say. For the price, I think I picked it up for about $50 or $60 on Amazon, delivered to my house the next day. For what it's done and the price point that it's at compared to other UV sterilizers, I know that they're a little more complicated, and they're meant to be in sumps and they're meant to do all kinds of other things, but to serve this purpose, I cannot complain for the price I paid for this, for how quickly it arrived, and what it did for my tank. And everything looks great. The corals don't look like they're melting anymore. My elegance here, my pride and joy coral, is looking very good. Polyps looking good. Everything's kind of bounced back and is not looking as poor and as melty as it did before. Euphilia. I think the frog spawn over there is a little closed up. The clowns like to pick on it sometimes, so I'm going to assume that's what happened, but everything else looks great. Honorable mention, what I also did was in chamber 2 over here. I did have some ChemiPure Blue, which was in chamber 1 formerly with the in-tank media basket, but since I put the protein skimmer in, I just put the ChemiPure, 2 new bags of ChemiPure. I know that you're supposed to change one at a time, I know, but I just put 2 new bags in, get some carbon help there, and sitting right on top of my 1 liter of C-Chem matrix. So anyway, big thumbs up to the UV Sterilizer and the protein skimmer, helping clear this up in 24 hours. If you like this, you know what to do. And yeah, hope this helps. Thanks for watching.